Every content creator on YouTube faces the same challenge of who can promote their videos the best, because there are so many people uploading videos about the same thing. There are so many people who have a different opinion when it comes to things such as Descendants of Zombies. So years ago, how I had to promote my content, it was all about who had the fastest internet and who could upload their video the fastest, and also who had the shortest videos. So if your parents had really crappy internet, there was no way that your video was going to go out and to see such an incredible reach or be seen by as many people as you thought that your video was going to be seen by. Now, many years later, my videos are seen over mountains, seen overseas, because these videos have gone onto the hearts of so many wonderful people. And I got to tell you guys something, from my heart to yours, I will always appreciate you, and you will always have this channel, because I know how much people like Kylie and Freya have meant to you, and how much it's meant to me to share in their stories, because I believed in their stories just as much. People have favorite songs from Freya. People have favorite moments created by Kylie and Malia because of their friendship, because the one thing that always stood out about them was this undeniable friendship, how incredibly supportive they were of each other, and how they were there for each other every step of the way, how you felt connected to Freya Sky's music. And I love promoting that, and I love promoting the futures of Zombies and Descendants, because I really did believe that something special was going to happen for all of us to have the chance to be a part of, because we felt connected to these stories, obviously, for many years, for at least over 7 years for Zombies, for over a decade for Descendants. And no matter who we are, we all have a story about how we became a fan, how we discovered Descendants of Zombies and its power for the first time ever. Because this was really a powerful, life-changing experience for people like me. Not just a fan, but for people like me, who had never been seen or heard by as many people ever before. I never imagined that these videos would go on to be so well received and so well responded to, with so many comments, thousands of likes, thousands of views, and really thousands of subscribers. While I may never believe in my own heart and soul that I am the best Descendants of Zombies content creator, the 4,000 people who have came to this YouTube channel and saw something special in every video that I ever created, or always took something special away from what I had to say about their favorite characters and all their favorite moments, that's really what meant the most to my heart, is knowing that I could touch the heart of somebody out there who loved this franchise with all of their heart. Because there's always a mystery with these franchises, and now with the Secrets of the Sea being revealed in Zombies 5, with the title having been revealed, we obviously know that mermaids are going to have some significant involvement in the forthcoming story, in the forthcoming years in the Zombies franchise. But I want you guys to think about it like this. No matter how many times somebody tries to shut the door on a new chapter being written or happening for Zombies, do you ever stop to think about how many supernatural characters there are out there in this world? Because there are many of them. And we've heard many stories about them. And you just can't tell the stories of probably 4 or 5 mermaids or a group of mermaids in just one story. You have to tell it through the course of many stories. That's why Descendants of Zombies has been referred to as an arch, and never an ongoing trilogy. The original trilogy may have been referred to as a trilogy because that was all it was ever intended to be, was simply a trilogy, about 4 characters that kind of just showed up in our lives one night at random, and then just started telling us a story that we could only hope at that time was going to last for forever. Now, for the first time ever, this is an arch, which is pretty much just a continuation of story after story after story, and character after character after character kind of just randomly showing up. The one thing I've always appreciated about Descendants of Zombies is how all these characters kind of just randomly show up. And in Wicked Wonderland, more characters than ever before are just kind of randomly show up. And that's what makes this franchise so magical and forever strong, and why people feel so strongly about characters played by Liamani and Keanu Romero, because they are best friends of Kylie Cantrell, who she is really excited to work with. Because the thing is, Kylie Cantrell has had this emotional connection with everybody she's ever worked with. She's not only brought the best out of herself, but she's brought the best out of everybody she's ever had the chance to work with. So if we should ever feel confident about anything, it's the futures of both of these franchises. And now with even more characters than ever before coming into the Zombies franchise, with Zombies 5 Secret of the Seeds title being revealed, I think we have more to be excited about and more to be appreciative of as time goes on. Because the most impressive thing about these franchises are the time that is allowed for the script to be developed, all these new characters to kind of just randomly show up, and new chapters to be written. Because no matter how many times you feel a love story like Zed and Addison's is over, or Freya Sky and Malachi Burton's love story is over, and seems to have seen its dramatic conclusion, there is always an opportunity to rewrite stories, and to retell the same story in so many authentic ways, which is something I really appreciated being able to do, is tell stories in so many authentic ways, and never just be a boring kind of guy who would never shut the door on anybody's hopes and dreams having anything to do with Descendants of Zombies. Because ever since I could remember, ever since I was really young and always a fan of Disney, I had a hope and a dream for a show like Hannah Montana, a show like Wizards, a show like Good Luck Charlie or Phineas and Ferb, Tangled, Frozen, seeing chapter after chapter written. And now with Frozen 3 being the last of what's referred to as Disney's revival era, the door is now more widely open than ever before to wonder what kind of era we're going to see next, what kind of journeys we're going to embark on. And I hope that it has something to do with Descendants of Zombies for many years to come. You know, Disney has generated over 1.1 billion hours of view time. It's generated over millions of fans. So because Descendants of Zombies has gone on to receive so much rarity and recognition, that's what makes this so special, is that it's gone on to receive so much rarity and recognition and become more recognized and heavily recognized by more people than ever before. If you were looking for a franchise to believe in more than ever before, I think Descendants of Zombies is your franchise. It really is your calling for something special and something magical to kind of really experience. And if you've ever wanted to believe in your favorite fairy tale characters and see expansions off of their stories, I think Descendants of Zombies is obviously what we've been looking for and wanting for a very long time. I've felt more than honored to be a part of these stories, and I think one of the most enjoyable things about being a part of these stories is always having the chance to see these stars evolve and really grow up and really coming of age, because this is really what Descendants of Zombies always has been and forever and always will be, is a coming of age sci-fi kind of adventure where possibilities are really endless. And as long as people continue to hold on to these endless possibilities, I think that the predictions that are being made can be far more unpredictable than ever before, and it gives people something to really hold on to, perhaps more than ever before. When we said goodbye to Zed and Addison's love story, many of us never wanted to say goodbye, and we never wanted to let go. And I got to be honest with you guys, I was one of the reviewers who never wanted to say goodbye to their love story and wished they could have stayed here for forever. Because undeniably, Zed and Addison were a part of our lives for over 7 years, and that is a really long time for a couple to be a part of our lives. Troy Bolton and Gabriela Montez from High School Musical never had the chance to be a part of our lives for that long. We would often go back on Disney Plus and other streaming services and rewatch the original High School Musical trilogy for just how much rarity and recognition it would go on to receive through the powerful music and the powerful story. And as Disney kind of tried to shy away from, franchises that focused on music, they would try to focus on franchises that not only had music, but had beautiful stories. There are people who have forever presented arguments about how Disney's trilogies and stories have kind of shied away from music. But they haven't really shied away from music, and the focus really hasn't been on music because they're trying to develop really powerful stories to kind of coincide with music. Because when music really doesn't really come to the forefront, the story always does. Or when the story doesn't come to the forefront, the music always does. Kind of like how it happened for Wicked. When the emotions were really high in the script for Wicked, the story was told by music. And that was so beautiful. That's what made Wicked one of the most celebrated and most revered musicals of all time, was how when the story was so emotional, you relied on the music to tell the story and help bring it to life. And it really did, because people felt captivated. People felt like their hearts had been stolen by the characters that told the story of Wicked in a very authentic way. And I think that having cast members involved with Descendants and people who had written Wicked previously being involved with Descendants really helped Descendants really come into its own. I will admit this is a very different generation. This is a very different take on Descendants from what it once was. But I think more people are falling in love with this franchise more than ever before, more than they ever have. Because I think these franchises really have changed our direction. They really changed our perspective on life and really allowed us to really put everything into perspective. And I've loved being a part of your guys' story in the process. Because I not only had the chance to sit here and talk about Descendants of Zombies, I had the chance to meet so many incredible people. And I will continue to have the honor of meeting so many incredible people as the years go by. Because the most precious thing that we have when it comes to Descendants of Zombies to often rely on and reflect upon is time. Because we never seem to know how much time we have. So I've always believed that if we're going to have time to talk about Descendants of Zombies, we should use that time to put a greater emphasis on just how powerful of a script this actually is, how powerful of a story this is, how we really have had the chance to experience every emotion in the book, and we've had the chance to experience every emotion in the book together. Together we've cried together, we've laughed together, we've shared in so many unforgettable experiences, so many experiences we have yet to share in, because what we're setting ourselves up to be a part of here is really history. And I don't know about you guys, but I really feel like Leah Bonnie is really feeling stronger and really feeling proud of this new character that she's going to have the chance to portray in Descendants for the first time ever. This has got to be her strongest character. And there's often been a comparison made between Bridget and, of course, Pink, because Pink and Bridget are obviously very similar. But I remember how the Bridget character that Ruby Rose Turner played for the first time ever back in 2024 was referred to as Bridget as the most powerful character that Ruby had ever played. And I kind of agree with that, because she really was the most powerful character that Ruby had ever played. Forgetting about how kind Ruby is, this was the most powerful character that Ruby ever played because it made Ruby a stronger person. And I really do believe that Princess Red made Kylie Cantrell into a more powerful person too, that gave people hope to believe in, gave people a second chance, that said, hey, you know, maybe all these things that are happening for characters like Red and Bridget can happen for me. You know, it seems like a long shot, but I'm never really that far away from my dreams than I ever seem to be, because the thing is, Descendants of Zombies withstood confidence in the minds of everybody, and people became more friends because of Descendants of Zombies and how close-knit of a bond they would form over Descendants of Zombies. I saw this every day for over 10 years. More people becoming friends because of Descendants of Zombies. And they're still friends 15 years later because Descendants had such an impact, such a cultural impact on so many wonderful people's hearts and changed so many people's lives for the better, because people who became friends over a decade ago are still friends to this very moment. And that's something that's always stood out to me about Descendants of Zombies, and something I've often loved encouraging in every video that I've ever had the honor to create, because when you have the chance to be friends with somebody or show somebody a little bit of extra kindness, which they may never really expect, kindness really goes a long way in this world, and there are far more kinder people found from this niche who are incredibly supportive of what you have to say. Just share your thoughts on Descendants of Zombies, and as long as it's something nice to be heard and seen, people will love you for forever and always. That's the best advice that I can give to anybody. Now, I know a lot of these YouTube channels that create Descendants of Zombies content for you guys are pretty much AI-oriented, which is never really what you guys want to see and hear. You want to hear somebody's direct opinion about Descendants of Zombies speaking to you from their heart. And that's something I've always tried to do, is speak from my heart on the futures of these stars, because I believe they had futures. And I just wanted to be a part of their futures while encouraging them that their futures were going to be something very special. We've seen too many Disney stars, Disney girls kind of come and go, who have represented these franchises with such power and empowerment, and inspiring people that empowerment is the way to go, the path to take. Because when you choose the path of empowerment, every dream that you have can happen for you, can become more of a reality than ever before. And I've often chosen the path of empowerment, even when I really didn't feel confident in my own ability to bring such things as this YouTube channel to life. And people saw that in me. They saw and heard it in every video that I would go on to upload, and that's why they chose this YouTube channel as their favorite. You know, while I may have never known if every prediction that I made about Descendants of Zombies was an accurate one, or a release window that I may have suggested was the right one, I knew that Descendants of Zombies was going to be something special, and things like Zombies 5 and Descendants 5 were going to happen. And we would have a chance of seeing mermaids, and all these fantasy aspects kind of coming full circle, which is what's obviously happening early on here for these franchises. There was a 2-year release window gap with Descendants of Zombies, and with the 2-year release window gap, it opens up the door to possibilities more widely than ever before, and we all have a chance of being a part of something so special, and it's something I look forward to being a part of for many years to come, because you guys allowed me the honor of being a part of both your world and your story. So because you allowed me the chance to be a part of your world and your story, it became the greatest honor of my life, and people saw and heard that in every video that I would go on to create about how my favorite character was always Bridget, for just how genuinely sweet the girl was, or how Ruby Rose Turner was just somebody who just brought this franchise to life in so many incredible ways, and how Kylie Cantrell was forever fearless. She was really a forever fearless person who deserved more of a chance than ever before. And some way or somehow I wanted Kylie Control to know that her contributions would never ever be forgotten, and she was one of the greatest VKs that had ever been created to share her story with all of us. And so many people took away inspiration from her story, which made telling her story so beautiful. So I would like to take this moment to say thank you so much from my heart to yours for having chosen this YouTube channel as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel, and always making it something that you'll always look forward to watching, because I've enjoyed just as much bringing these videos to life for all of you and being a part of both your worlds and your stories. From my heart to yours, thank you so much for having watched these videos.